Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have another interesting topic. We have a question that I've always asked and argued over the years: is arrogance bad necessarily? Because you see, a lot of media, be it the mainstream media or other forms of media like social media and all that, whenever somebody gets popular, they always seem humbled by their achievements and thank you, everybody, for doing this or doing that. I'm like, is that necessary? Mainly because it seems like, regardless of whether somebody's polite or actually has any dignity or humility to him, he can be the biggest ass around, but he's still humble and he still thanks his fans for it, which is alien to me. I find that ridiculous. I argue that the greatest way to display your humility is actually by showing arrogance. The reason I argue this point mainly is from what I've observed, and I'm a person who often shows his arrogance. 9 times out of 10, it's more authentic. And let's make something clear. When I say arrogance, it does not relate to whether somebody's lying or not. If somebody's lying, that's always frowned upon. But somebody's being honestly arrogant about something he did, I find that to be very good. I think the path of humility starts with arrogance, actually. Because I brag a lot. Many of my friends brag a lot. Many of my friends are arrogant about our achievement. We're arrogant about what we did. And we deserve that. We've earned it. And I've never seen somebody call me actually arrogant, because there's a difference between being arrogant and being an ass. Being a show-off. Even showing off, I find no issue with. In fact, I welcome it. If I see somebody showing off, I welcome it, because if they're doing it honestly and genuinely, 9 times out of 10, that's an honest human being. The guys who play humble and nice and hide behind the background, whispering behind your back, that's the people I watch out for. So the argument I'm making here is that there is merit to arrogance. There is merit to being in a setting and showing off. All of that is awesome. The reason this is frowned upon is not that humility is good, is that the people hate being told that they suck at something. Generally. What happens is you sit down in a room, the best guy around in whatever specific activity starts talking about his skills or his troubles or his achievements, just to say it, because why not? And other people's like, oh, that man is such a show-off, man. He's just he can't stop talking about how he's better than us. Can't he just stop, please? I find that odd. I find that extremely odd, because I have great achievements, other people have great achievements, and we all have the rights to speak about it. I mean, I don't see it. I don't see why somebody would sit there and feel bad because Jimmy can throw 15 balls, juggle 15 balls. Why? Why would you care? Maybe you juggle 14. That doesn't make you more or less than Jimmy. It just makes Jimmy better at that activity. That's it. It does not take away from your worth as a human being. But for some reason, we have to mind these people, because they're 80% of the population. So if you don't go oh, it's all thanks to the fans that I did all my hard work and slave labored for hours making whatever I want to make, so you can show up and watch me do it effortlessly. Ah, it's all thanks to you guys and this Millie beer, in your hand, and as you cheered for me. Wow, what an achievement. You've helped me so much get my passion. I don't get it. There is nothing. Nothing here. There's nothing. It's stupidity. That's what it is. And people in social media and other places pretend to be like humbled by all people's actions. Everybody's like, he did not shame us for sucking. We like him. Meanwhile, the asshole shows up, the honest one. The asshole shows up, all arrogant, saying, no, I'm great. I'm great. I'm better than you. In fact, I'm so much better than you. I'm here in an interview and you're interested to hear my life story. I mean, these are not arrogant statements. These are observations. I don't get it. I don't get the fuss. Why would we be angry at that guy? As far as I've seen, people love the arrogant guy in fiction. But whenever the arrogant guy shows up in real life, they dislike him. Is it because that guy's fake and that guy's real? That guy's actually jumping on your ego and the other guy's just entertainment? You cannot play favorites here. You either hate them, period, or not. I don't, it's weird. It's weird, and people come, whenever I sit down and chat on, I'm not even being arrogant, I'm just stating the facts in whatever argument. I'm just like, that guy's such a show-off, because he read 13 books about the subject, and he's sharing his knowledge to make the point. Wow, he's so arrogant. I mean, it's stupid. It's silly. It's insane. But people do it like it's normal, like it's okay, like nothing is wrong with it. Everything is wrong with it. As in, you guys simply look for an excuse to escape the blaming yourselves for sucking in whatever you're at. Your life sucks. Instead of taking responsibility for that, you're like, oh, look at this TV star. He's so arrogant. I can't wait to see him fail. What's her name? Ronda Rousey, the UFC star that got her butt kicked once, and everybody went insane because she was rubbing it against their face, and the second she lost, everybody started jumping. The other UFC guy, Conor McGregor, same deal. People were waiting, holding the memes, holding everything, saving everything together for the second he lost. So they jump on it. Why? Because he was showing off. Yet they go to the humble guy, and it's like, the humble guy with no personality, the hard worker, right? It's all thanks, I just want to entertain the fans. They go to him and he's like, oh, he's so good. He doesn't make us feel bad for sucking. That's how it is. If somebody doesn't make you feel bad for sucking, you're all about it. You're all about it. You show up and you're like, oh, can I get your autograph and whatever. I love the assholes. They're honest. You know them. They're distinct. None of this humble crap, none of this, oh, I just want to show up and do stuff. No, none of that. All they want to do is do what they love and then talk about it in their way. And I respect that. And I'll always partake in that activity. Because, again, I will argue, arrogance is the gateway to humility. Because humility is not in the saying of something. Humility is knowing who you are. And how it doesn't matter. You can be Michael Jordan in basketball. It still doesn't matter. You still have to talk to that guy. You still have to ask that guy a question. You still have to drink this specific liquid. You still have to shit it after, you should piss it, and if you eat something, you also have to shit it. You're great, but being great is okay, is normal. It's a regular human thing for you to be great. That's what I think arrogance to humility teaches you. Is arrogance, I'm great at this, I'm good at that, I'm better than you at this, I'm greater than you at that. But despite all this, I will speak to you all the same. That would be humility to me. It's that even though I have these so many achievements, these achievements do not dictate a place in society I am placed. Rather, my place in society depends on the person in front of me and how much they're willing to engage and how much fun they're willing to have. Just because, like, being arrogant, like having humility through arrogance, you'll be like, despite all the great things I did, I do not expect any extra treatment. And if I expect any extra treatment, it must be relevant, because I have to be in a basketball field. Of course, Michael Jordan, if he enters a basketball field, everybody starts bowing. If he goes into Sports Center, people will ask him questions. What if he goes to a random bar and nobody knows him, like in the middle of the Pacific or something? He sits down and gets a beer like the rest. He can talk about how awesome he is. But until, it's clear that Michael Jordan, in this sense, has the respect of everybody and he is now of higher standing, he'll just sit. That's humility to me. It's not the, oh, don't talk about your achievements ever, and don't rub it in people's faces, and just sit down and talk about how much of a hard worker you are, even though you just took 3 beers, you wasted your time playing, watching Netflix and playing video games, but you just said you work hard and you do it for the love and you do it for the fans, and I'm so thankful for you watching me. All of that bull crap that you have to say in order to for people in front of you to feel better about themselves. All of that, I would say, just throw it out. I'm awesome at making this or at doing this. The recording stopped for some reason, but I suck at doing this or that. I'm horrible. That doesn't mean, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Regardless, listen. Arrogance, I feel there's nothing wrong with it, as long as it's genuine. You're not those guys who enter the party and they talk about the million things they didn't do, or the things they're going to be, and that's enough for them to be arrogant. If I never made a portrait of sorts, I never painted, and I just walk around and tell people how I'm gonna be a great painter, and you should respect me for it, that's stupid, that's silly, and you should be slapped for it. But if that guy did a few portraits, he's still not great, but he did a few portraits, he can't be I paint. I paint and I hope to be a great person at some point. I'm actually good. Check my work. If he's good, that is. If you're good, you have all the rights to brag. You should have. You worked for it. And if you suck, you can brag too. But if you get the harsh comment, don't be salty about it. But to sit there and suggest that this person is somehow less because they're bragging is silly. Let them brag, especially if they've earned it. And if they didn't earn it, let them brag and you'll mock them for it. At least that's what I do. That's what we do where we're from. So, if you put these humility layers on you to be humble, you won't make it. You won't be actually humble. I believe, at least in my view, humility, to be humble, it comes out when you're not looking for it. When you're actually humble, so humble, even in your arrogance, you're humble. It's a lifestyle. It's not something you need to show off and to be humble. Step 1, step 2, step 23. No, you just do, and it'll happen. You're humble. Now live your life like you've always lived it. You like to show off, you show it off. You like to hide it, you're that guy, fine. Humility, again, is like a lifestyle, a point of view, not something that just manifests immediately in everything you do. Oh, to be humble, one must do thy whatever. No. Everybody's humble in their own way. And you'll never know who's humble and who's arrogant. Your only pointers, somebody is being genuine about themselves. And whoever is humble and genuine, regardless of how they present it, it will show. And you will love them for it. Unless, of course, you're one of those guys who'll be like, that person did not thank us when he got 1,000 subs. How dare he? Like, stupidity. Like, YouTube in particular, but people in general. Like, if you look on Instagram, look on Twitter, look everywhere. You will find stupidity just like sprinkling about. You can inhale it. It's not that great. Like, you'll cough unless you're used to it or you're like partaking stupidity a lot. Don't be stupid, people. That would be my advice for the day. Like, be arrogant, be humble, be all that, but don't be stupid. That's good advice. Yeah. That said, I hope you enjoyed the video and have a good day.